Hello, welcome to today's session. I'm going to be taking you through roughly a half an hour session that's going to be all standing. I'll be covering posture, balance and some mobility, and so it's just a good session if you've been sat down for a long period, maybe at the desk and just want to get moving. So first of all, coming up into your standing position, I'm going to get you to stand with your toes pointing forwards, hip socket distance apart, and then I just want you to rock your weight forwards and backwards, so you go into your toes, back into your heels, and then settle into that nice mid position where you feel like your weight is equal between big toe, little toe and your heel, and then just get some energy through your feet. So I don't want you to be scrunching your toes, but I want to feel like your arches are awake. Then we'll lock your knees out and then release them, so they're nice and straight but they're still soft. Then from here we'll do some pelvic tilt, so imagine that your pelvis is your bucket of water. We'll tip the water out through the front and then out through the back of the bucket. So going both directions here with your pelvic tilts, making sure ribs stay nice and still, knees stay nice and relaxed, and it's just in the pelvis where we're getting the movement. And as you tip the water out through the back of the bucket, I want you to feel like you're lengthening your lower back as much as possible. Check you're not bending your knees as you do this part. So pulling pubic bone up to belly button, hollowing through the abs, lengthening through the lower back. And then find a halfway point where you feel nice and relaxed and you've got a core engaged and a nice long lower back. Then when you're ready, we'll do some shoulder rolls. I want you to lift your shoulders all the way up to your ears. As you're doing your shoulder rolls backwards, now think about lifting your sternum nice and high. So this is your breastbone. I want you to lift your chest towards the ceiling, get lots of elevation. Then just relax the shoulder blades down, nice and easy. Just let them flop towards the floor like your arms are ragdoll arms. Then keeping the sternum lifted, you'll now drop the ribs down, the lower ribs, as if they're tucking into your abdomen. So you've got your neutral pelvic position, lower ribs are down, but chest is lifted. So we have a nice long spine, and then feel like all the hairs in the back of your neck are just standing up and lengthening. So from here, keeping this lovely long neutral posture, we're now going to go into footwork series. So you'll bend your knees as if you're standing against a wall, sliding your back down this imaginary wall. So my head, shoulders and bottom stay against the wall. Float your arms forwards, let the shoulder blades still be relaxed and down, and then lift your heels up. Then we'll straighten the legs and then we'll lower the heels, lower the arms, and then continue through that whole sequence of movements. So with this exercise, we're focusing on balance and posture. We're also thinking about our alignment. So with your ankles, make sure that as you lift your heels up, you keep your ankles pushing forwards and they don't roll outwards to the side. This nice alignment between ankles, knees and hips, so knees go straight forwards. And we're going to get as much range into our calves as we can, into our ankles. So when you go down initially, keeping a straight spine, drop your sitting bones towards your heels and go in for as much stretch into your calves as you can, keeping your heels down. Once you can't go any further, then lift up the heels, go as high as you can into the heels. So we're going low into stretch here, high all the way through the full range of your ankle. Then double check that you feel like your weight is equal between left and right foot, so you're keeping yourself centered as you do this. Another thing to be thinking about is making sure the pelvis is in neutral. So think of your bucket of water analogy. Think of keeping the water nice and still the whole way through, so we don't lean forwards with the shoulders. We keep the shoulders over the top of the pelvis. And then checking that as you're floating your arms, shoulder blades stay down away from the ears, so you have a nice long neck throughout this movement. We'll now change direction, so we'll go up tiptoes. Bring the arms around to the front, bend into the knees, then roll the heels back as you lower the arms and then come up to standing. So up tiptoe, straight legs, bend into the knees, roll the heels back, then come back through. The harder bit with this direction is actually the last bit as you push your heels down. So we go up with straight legs, bend the knees. Now from here, keep the pelvis still, the bucket of water still as you press your heels back down and then come back through to standing. So it's at this part here as I lower my heels, we do have a natural tendency to want to rock our hips back towards the wall behind us. But I want you to make sure that you're keeping head, shoulders and hips in alignment as we come all the way through. So there's no movement. So imagine that you've got your favorite drinks resting on your shoulders here as you do it. Last one in this direction. And then we can relax. We'll just release, shake it out a little bit. Now I'm going to get you to go into tightrope stance. And from here, as if you're stood on a tightrope, your feet are in alignment with each other. Make sure the toes are pointing forwards and we haven't got turn out into our toes. So toes are in alignment forwards. Rock your weight so you're centered between front leg and back leg, and then just relax your arms. Think about your posture, all the setting we did just a moment ago. So collarbones are up and wide and lifted. Ribs are down, abdominals are drawn in gently so you've got a nice long lower back. Now from here, let your ankles go nice and wobbly. Let them do their thing. Think of the knees absorbing that, so knees are soft also. And then closing your eyes when you're ready. So depending whether you're wearing shoes or not, whether you're on a soft surface like a mat or a carpeted floor, or you're on a firm surface, will depend how wobbly this is. Also depending how tired you are. If you've not had enough sleep, then you can find that your balance is worse. From here, we're going to just try and bend into our knees just very gently. And then we're going to rise back up, straightening our legs. So bending both knees, just going down a little bit. You don't have to go too low with this one, and then rising back through. Pretend that you are on quicksand. You sink into the quicksand as you bend your knees. As you rise up, squeeze the back of the legs, squeeze the bottom muscles. Imagine you're scissoring the legs together to lift you back up as if you're pushing your way out of quicksand. If you can do this with eyes closed, great, continue. Otherwise, if you're struggling with this, eyes can stay open and you can have your arms crossed in front of you. Your ankles are naturally going to be wobbling around. I want you to still be absorbing this into the knees so you make sure the torso stays nice and still. We'll go for one more here. And then squeezing all the way back up and then relax, and we'll change over our lead leg. So one foot in front of the other again. Find that nice mid position between the 2 feet. Soft into the ankles and the knees. Abdominals are engaged, we've got a nice long back, ribs are down, chest is up, shoulders are relaxed, neck's nice and soft. We're keeping this length through our spine as we hold this. Then closing your eyes. Another way that you can make this easier or make it harder, the more in line your feet are, the harder this will be. So if you're struggling, you can take your feet just a little bit separate, still keeping the toes pointing forwards, but it'll give you a wider base of support so you don't have as much of a challenge. So you may be able to do this easy with your eyes closed, for instance. And then when you're ready now, we'll bend into both knees and then we'll rise back up. Imagine you're squeezing your way out of quicksand. Ankles are wobbling around, doing their thing. You should find there's lots of wobble in the ankle, but what you're aiming for is that the knees absorb it so that pelvis upwards, so through the torso and the rest of the spine, there is no wobbling or any movement. We stay nice and controlled, nice and still through our body as we do this one. Again, trying to still do this with your eyes closed if you can, or your alternative version is to have the arms crossed and eyes open. So last one here, we'll squeeze back out and then rest and then just come back into a neutral position. We're now going to go out to second with the legs. We're going to take the legs as wide as we can, that when we go down into a squat, our knees go right over the top of the ankles here. And then to begin with, I want you to just think about your posture. We're going to start with Cleopatra arms. So elbows come into waist, and from here, as if we're holding a tray of drinks in front of us, our arms are parallel with the floor. We're now going to take our thumbs back to the wall behind us, keeping the elbows into the waist. Push the shoulder blades down and open the chest, feel the length through the spine. Then we're going to reach out, keeping the shoulder blades pushing down as long as you can with the fingertips. Then we're going to rotate our palms so they face as far over as they can, so they're twisting all the way around. And then we release and we bring it back in. So thumbs back behind us, stretch the arms away, and then rotate and twist way back in. And we'll keep this moving. So Cleopatra arms are going to continue. And then what I want you to be thinking about is your shoulders here. So the arms do their thing, we're reaching as far and we're twisting as far as we can. But now make sure shoulder blades glide down as if you're sending your shoulder blades to your back jeans pockets. You want to keep your collarbones open as if your collarbones are smiling to the front of the room. So especially at the end of this, make sure that we're not rounding and lifting the shoulders. So we keep them pushed back and down as we twist. So one more time here with Cleopatra arms. Then we'll rest the arms, hands onto hips. We'll now go down into squats. So down into second position squats, or sumo squats as you might want to call it. Push the knees out as wide as they'll go, and then make sure that we keep that neutral position with our pelvis. So we're just dropping our sitting bones straight down to the floor. Squeeze the inner thighs as you come back through. Dig down into the heels. Feel like you're trying to scissor your legs back together in the middle. Then when you're ready from here, we'll go into footwork series. So we go down into squats, then we lift our heels. Then we straighten our legs, lower the heels, and then go back through. So bending into the knees, up with the heels, straightening the knees, down with the heels. So as we did before with our neutral footwork series, I want you to be thinking about your posture. So that bucket of water stays nice and still. We don't tip the water either direction. We're using a lot more into adductors, into our inner thighs now, so you'll be feeling that. Collarbones stay relaxed and open as if they're smiling to the front of the room. And then as if you are having your favourite drinks resting onto your shoulders, you keep them nice and still. It's like they're just going up and down into a lift as they do this movement. Now we're going to add in your Cleopatra arms. So when you're ready, elbows into the waist, a bit of a coordination challenge this one. We take the thumbs back as we go down. We lift the heels and straighten the arms out. We straighten the legs, rotate the palms the opposite way, and then relax back in as we lower the heels. So again, going out with the arms, up with the arms, rotate, and then release back to neutral. And then keep this moving now. So don't worry too much about the speed or the pace of it, or too much the coordination. As long as you're still doing the arms and the legs, I'm quite happy. It's enough of a challenge just doing the two things at once here. So keeping going with our footwork series and Cleopatra arms. Let's go for 3 more. Should be feeling it into inner thigh. Should be working to keep the knees turned out. Focus on your posture. Last one. And then rest through from there. Well done. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of mobility now. So back into your neutral alignment, toes pointing forwards. Just going to go for a few shoulder rolls around. Check you're centered with your weight into the middle of your feet. Knees are nice and soft. Then we'll go shoulder roll to one side. Drop the hand down towards our knee, and we'll just follow our hand with our gaze. Then come all the way back through and over to the other side. So shoulder roll all the way back and round. Slide the hand down towards the knee and then fold back up. Take a little checkpoint now as to how low you can go to each side. See if you feel like there's any more tension on one side than the other. And then another thing to be aware of is that we're going straight into a side bend. My pelvis wants to stay nice and still, so I'm not pushing it out the opposite way as I reach through. And then imagine that you're stood in the most narrow corridor, as if you've got wall and wall in front of the body and the back of the body. So as you roll to the side, you go straight to the side and you don't start to rotate the body and push it into your imaginary wall in front of you or behind you. So again, alternating the sides, nice little side bend through. Feel the waist opening. One more each way. Then we're going to add in roll down. So we'll take roll down separately first after this one. So last side bend here. Then coming back through. Now, staying where you are, I'm going to do the moving so you can see what I'm doing from the side. From here, you're going to think about your posture again, and we'll just bring chin to the chest and feel a stretch into the neck, keeping the rest of the spine nice and long. You'll squeeze your bottom muscles just to fix the pelvic position. Abdominals want to draw in, so you want to feel like you're locking your pelvis into position. Then now, as if we're just going to peel forwards one vertebra at a time, you'll slowly round through the upper back, feel the shoulder blades widen, arms are dangling under the shoulders, so then they'll start to lift away from your thighs. And then one vertebra at a time, as far as you can, still keeping your pelvis nice and still so you don't tip the water out of your bucket. You'll then come to a certain place where you can't go any further with your back. You've got this nice round back position. Now release the tailbone. You'll let your bucket tip forwards. And imagine that you've got a little bunny rabbit tail, and I want you to send your tail as high up to the ceiling as possible. Allow the body just to relax and go nice and heavy here. So take a couple of breaths at the bottom. As you breathe out, go heavy. Relax into position. Make sure there's no tension through the upper back. So switch the neck off. You can do a few nose shakes left to right with the nose. Let the head just really switch off. Check your shoulder blades are melting towards the floor. Now I want you to keep this lovely relaxed spine position. We're then going to squeeze your bottom muscles, tuck your tailbone underneath you, roll the pelvis back, really bring the pelvis back underneath you. Once the pelvis comes back, then slowly feel how easy it is for the rest of the spine just to restack on top nice and tall. So we'll go again. So we're stood as if we're nice and tall against a wall. Bring your chin to your chest, peel the crown of your head away from the wall. Now very slowly feel each segment peeling away from the wall. You're squeezing your glutes and your abdominal muscles so you can keep your pelvis still. Round the back as much as you can. Feel each segment lengthening, lifting the abdominals to get into your lower back. Then slowly peeling away the whole way through so your tailbone starts to tilt. And now we relax towards the floor. Check that your knees aren't locked, so you're not tightening your kneecaps, you're just letting your kneecaps relax, but you're still in straight legs. Go really heavy with the body, let the shoulders flop to the floor, let the head just dangle like you're a rag doll. Take a couple more breaths, and on the breath out, just go heavier. And then after this next breath, you're going to squeeze your bottom muscles, roll the tailbone back, keeping this lovely, long, relaxed spine. Once you roll your tailbone all the way back underneath you, then just feel how easy it is for the rest of the spine just to restack. When you come up nice and tall, check you've lifted into that natural tall position and we've not brought the hips too far forwards or we've not come all the way back up. Now we're going to add in your side bend. So you're going to go shoulder roll, side bend down. Now I'm going to roll down to this side. Try to keep your pelvis still for as long as you can, and then it will rotate and fold, and you'll go all the way down to the side. Feel the stretch through this waist now, and then roll around into the middle. And then when you're ready, we'll restack through the center. So tucking tailbone under, one vertebra at a time, coming all the way through. Once you get to the top, then we'll go to the other side. So shoulder roll, side bend, fold to the side. Let both arms go dangly like a rag doll. We reach over to the side, go as far as you can, rolling down to this one side. Then fold it back through into the middle. And now we'll roll back up, tucking tailbone under, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, all the way through. And then again, so shoulder roll, side bend, fold down towards the mat, the floor, roll it around into the middle, and then slowly restacking all the way, squeezing the bottom muscles to bring your tailbone back underneath you. And then again, shoulder roll, last one, side bend, roll it around, feel the stretch into the waist, and then slowly coming all the way back into the middle, and then rolling up, using your pelvis, squeeze the glutes, restack, nice and tall. Okay, we're going to go into some balance work next, and we'll do the bowlers exercise. So you can stay facing me, but you'll need to have enough room to be able to kick your leg back behind you. So I'm going to show you side on for this one. So starting off, you'll get your balance onto one leg, so floating one knee up. Think of the height, think of the lift, so squeezing both sitting bones up, lift the chest, abs and glutes are awake. Then when you're ready from here, we're just going to bend our knee and then rise back up. We'll go for 5 knee bends here. As you squeeze up, try and squeeze your sitting bones higher away from the floor, so you're squeezing your bottom muscles. Check the knee points forwards as you bend into this, and you don't start to rotate the knee. So I'll quickly show you from the front what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for the alignment here and to watch that the knee hasn't dived in. So we keep our alignment there and pelvis stays neutral. So then from here we go down into the knee. That's level 1. Level 2, tip the pelvis forwards now. So imagine you've got car headlight beam on your hips. You rotate the hips towards the floor. keep the back nice and straight. So abs are lifted, chest is lifted. Then the third part is we reach and stretch into our bowlers and we stretch away as far as we can. Tighten the abs, lift the chest, reach the finger and the foot away. Then squeeze back up as the fourth part of the movement. Go all the way back up into a tall standing posture into a one leg balance still. Then when you're ready, down again, down into the knee. Tip from the pelvis, keep your knee bend, maintain the knee bend here as you tip forward from the pelvis. Then reach and stretch, get a big stretch away, lift the abs, lift the chest, squeeze the bottom muscles. Now slowly return back up into a full one leg balance, nice and tall, both sitting bones lifted. We've got 3 more here on this leg. So we tip and reach and get a nice big stretch with our reach. Keep the knee bend and then slowly coming all the way back through. Squeeze your bottom muscles. You should be feeling this into your balancing leg here. We've got lots of work for this leg. Tipping forward from the pelvis. Nice big reach and stretch. Squeeze back up. Make sure we've not rounded our back. Use your bottom muscles, last one. Down into knee bend. Tip through from the pelvis. Big elongation, reach and stretch, keep the knee bend, squeeze back up, come all the way back through into balance, and then relax. Well done, you should definitely be feeling that into your standing leg. A little bit into calf. If you're feeling it too much into calf, then you're squeezing your toes a little bit too much as you're doing it, but otherwise it should be the full leg working, especially the bottom. Now we'll change over to the other leg. So standing into standing balance, first of all, you've got a nice tall posture. We're just going to bend our knee. So a little knee bend and then come straight back up. For this first part, focus on sending your sitting bones down to your ankle. Keep the chest lifted, make sure your alignment's right so your knee goes forwards and we don't drop one side of the hip, so we keep the hips level. Now when you're ready, add in the bowler. So bend into the knee, tip from the pelvis, keep the knee bent. Then reach and stretch as far as you can. Then squeeze your bottom to bring you all the way back through into tall one leg balance. So down into the knee. Tip from the pelvis. Keep the abs engaged, keep the chest lifted. Now reach and stretch your free arm and leg. Reach them away as far as you can. Squeeze your bottom on this lifting side, but at the same time we're pulling up through abs. Then slowly pull your way all the way back up into the tallest one leg balance. So the crown of your head's being pulled up towards the ceiling. Down into the knee. Tip from the pelvis. Car headlight beam on the hips go down, but the back stays straight, so abs are lifted, chest lifted. Reach and stretch, squeeze away. Reach the fingertips as far away as you can. And then squeeze your bottom, pull yourself all the way back up into nice tall balance. Good. We've got 3 more left onto this leg. So we're tipping forward from the hips. Stay with me. You should be feeling it. You should be getting the burn. And then slowly coming all the way back through. Keep the leg lifted. Squeeze up. Last 2. Tip through from the pelvis. Elongate, stretch away. Lift the abdominals. Really use your abdominals as you're lifting through the free arm and leg. And then lifting all the way back up. We've only got 1 more. Down into the knee. Tip through from the pelvis. Reach and stretch. And then come all the way back up. Nice and tall. And then relax through from there. Well done. Okay, we'll do a little bit of a calf stretch just to release off your lower legs now. So I'm going to get you just to step forwards, which wherever was the last leg that you worked on. So whatever leg you stood on last, that foot's now going to come forwards. Then from there, we're just going to think about lifting the spine. Tuck the tailbone under. So think of having car headlight beam, pull it up with the hips, so we're pulling in abs and glutes. Then we're going to lunge forwards, keeping our back heel down. So you lock the knee, push the heel down, and just lean the hips as far forward as you can. The calf behind you. And then we'll just pulse. So we'll just bend into the knee and then rise back through and just take the stretch on and off a little bit here. Keep the heel pushing down, keep locking the knee, Keep tucking under the tailbone. And then we'll release, and then we'll change over to the other leg. So stepping through now with the other leg, we're going to stretch the second leg that you worked. Tuck the tailbone, really pull the hip bones up. Then push forwards into lunge. Feel like you've got a piece of string from your belly button. You're being pulled from the string into the stretch. Hold the stretch first of all, lock the knee up, push the heel down into the mat. And then when you're ready, you can start to just pulse forwards and backwards into this lunging knee. You're keeping collarbones open, smiling. And then you can rest through from there. Okay, I want to go in for a little bit of spinal mobility now, so we're going to go into some rotations. So I'm going to start you with your feet together. You're going to zip your legs together. I want you to feel your inner thighs engaging and your bottom muscles engaging. Almost imagine that you're trying to turn your knees out a little bit with this. Then from here, pelvis points forward. So imagine, again, you've got core headlight beam. It wants to shine to the front of the room. It doesn't want to go left and right. So we keep our pelvis locked into place. Then when you're ready, we'll bring our hands into prep position. So lifting the chest and the neck up, got long length through the back of the neck, shoulders are down, but the collarbones are up. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, breathe wide into the ribs, and then as you breathe out, we're gonna rotate and twist around to the side. I always think of doing the rotation, it's a little bit like wringing out cloth, so I want you to get as much ring as you can through your spine, rotate it as much as possible. And then coming back through to center on your inhale. So breathing out as we twist. Inhale, bring it back through. Exhale, imagine that you're blowing a candle out. Purse your lips, push the air out through the mouth. Now what I want you to be aware of is the abdominal muscles. So glutes and inner thighs should be really engaging. I want you to squeeze the legs together still, and that will help keep your pelvis nice and still so your pelvis doesn't rotate round. Abdominals now want to help you with the rotation. So you're going to think of obliques doing the work as much as possible. So going at your own pace, both directions, the pace of your breathing, and now seeing how far you can go, keeping the hips nice and still, using the glutes and the inner thighs, and making sure that we're getting as much rotation through the torso as we can from the obliques. Shoulders are down, chest is up. We're nice and tall as we twist. And again, one more time. Last one here, just like this. And then release. Now we'll free up a little bit, so feet can go a little bit wider, nice and relaxed into the legs. From here, we can interlock the fingers in front of us, press down with our elbows and our arms, and then we're just going to twist around behind us, and then come back into center, twist the opposite way. With this one now, we'll go a little bit more free. So you're now going to pull the elbow back, rotate, go for a nice spin around to each side. We're not fixing our hips so much in this movement. We're just freeing up our back, getting as much rotation as we can. So twisting around as far each way as possible, pulling through the elbow gently. Now lengthen away, pull the arm back. So going both directions, making sure we reach through the fingertips. The front arm can just bend in front of us. So we reach back long through our fingertips, soften the front arm. Last one each way, and then relax through from there. So you should feel a lot freer now. Now we're going to bring our feet back together, go back to the spine twist that we just did, but we're going to add a little bit of balance work into it and make it a little bit harder. So squeezing our heels together, we're going to make sure our legs are squeezed together and our bottom muscles are working. We're then going to float up to tiptoe, so heels are lifted, hands back into prayer position. We can get a little bit of rotation through the pelvis now, so it's not quite as rigid. I want you to now think of wringing that cloth out. Rotate around as far as you can with the whole body, including the hips, keeping the legs glued together in your balance. And then inhale, bring it back through nice and slowly into center. Now we'll rotate around the other way. You'll notice this is a really zipping your legs together. We have the narrowest base of support on two legs as your feet are squeezed together. So there's no width in your base of support here. It's nice and narrow. We're squeezing bottom muscles, we're squeezing inner thighs. Get as much rotation, we're staying on the tiptoes. Unfortunately, calves will be feeling this one a little bit too. Then coming back through to center. Last one each way. Keeping the challenge. Coming all the way back through, and again, last one. and then releasing back through from there. Well done. Okay, I just want to go for a nice big all-round body stretch now. So we're going to go for around the world. So feet go wider than your pelvis now. Ground your feet in, ground your heels into your mat. We're going to interlock the fingers, turn the palms away and lift up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders pulled down so you've got a bit of engagement here through the back of the arms. From here, we're just going to take it first of all just into a little side bend one way, come back through, side bend the other way. You're going to try and keep your hips still for this part of the movement. Now we'll go all the way. Side bend, slowly roll all the way down. Around the world, we're sweeping a big circle. We sweep over the mat, then up to the other side and circle all the way up. Now change direction. So we go back this way, then sweep down, go all the way across as big a circle as you can make with your whole body, and then change direction. Now we're going to go for one more each way, taking it nice and slow and controlled and getting as much movement through this as we can. Then we're going to continue to circle in the same direction next for 5, but going a lot more freer with the movement and a little bit faster. Use like a pendulum motion going round. So from here, when you're ready, just fold around and sweep back up. We'll go for 5. And we've got 2 more after this one. Keep the glutes engaged a little bit to keep the pelvis nice and still. Last one. And come through, change direction, go the other way. And to reach through your body. Imagine you're painting the biggest circle that you can. So you're reaching around the room as far as you can. Last 2. Last one. Coming all the way back through. And then relax. And then now I just want to do a little bit of opening through our spine. So we'll go into a mini squat. Feet can be quite narrow for this one, knees narrow. I'll show you from the side. Miniature squat, so we bend down. We're going to wrap the hands on the back of the legs and round up like an angry cat position. Then we're going to go the opposite way. Take the palms to the front of the thighs, and now we're going to lift our chest, send our tailbone away, arch our back. So we're rounding back through, grab the back of the legs, lift the belly button up, hollow through the back, chin to chest, tuck the tailbone under, round every segment of your spine. Then go the opposite way, arch your back, push down into the arms, you push the shoulders down, lift the sternum up, so we're lifting the breastbone forwards and up to the ceiling. Keep the neck long so we're not shortening the back of the neck, so you keep it lengthened. And then back through, rounding through as much as you can. And then releasing, rolling away, lifting through the spine. And one more each way, rounding up, and then stretching away. And then release. And then we're just going to reset through your posture before you finish. So back to neutral position, toes pointing forwards, hips socket distance apart. Your weight is equal between big toe, little toe and heel. Legs, lock them out first, then release them. So they're straight, but they're nice and soft. Couple of pelvic tilts both ways. Find that nice mid position where you're in the middle there. Lift the chest up, but drop the ribs down. Relax the shoulders nice and heavy. And then just imagine all the hairs in the back of your neck are standing up. Feel the length through your spine. Close your eyes for a second and just take a moment to have awareness in your body. If you're feeling length, if you're feeling tension, I want you to feel like your weight is equal between left and right foot, so you're not leaning to one side. I want you to feel like all the muscles are nice and relaxed. You're in this lovely neutral, tall spine position. So no muscles should feel short and no muscles should feel long in this position, and you want to just try and relax them as much as you can here. Just take all the tension away on every out breath. Take a nice deep breath in, wide into the ribs. As you breathe out, sigh, let the tension go, relax the muscles. Open your eyes, recenter yourself to your surroundings around you, and well done, good session.